too long. You hold that water in a glass for too long, what happens? It starts to evaporate. I'm gonna find a way out. It ain't gonna be in a box for too long. Water can also go into any shape as well and be comfortable there, you know, until it's time for the transition. You know what I mean? So I believe that we should know like water. It said water only wants to get the deepest possible points. That's the last sentence in that paragraph. Water only wants to get to the deepest possible points of the earth. In order to know like water, one must believe loosely. Now, knowledge is defined as right belief. The only way to get to a right belief is to put current beliefs to the test. When a belief fails to be useful time and time again, we must drop that belief, for that belief is keeping us from the belief that will bring us closer to the spirit of truth and love. So what I'm saying is, you know how some of these dudes treat these girls, where it's like, oh yeah girl, I'll stick with you until you get boring, or I'll stick with you until you prove that, you know, we really ain't vibing, you know, we really ain't on that level, and then they just go to another girl so easily. I'm not saying that's how you should treat a woman, but I think that's how you should treat your beliefs. Your beliefs are like you chiseling. There's something that you shouldn't hold on too tightly to, because it could be destructive. You holding on to this evil entity thinking that it's something positive just because it's easy for you to believe in it, or because your grandma told it to you, or because you've always been like that. You know what I mean? That can cause some serious physical ailments, also some bad stuff in life, which is natural. It's natural to go through chaos in life. That's how you learn. All these people, you know what I mean? So anyway, it says we must drop that belief, for belief is keeping us from the belief that will bring us closer to the spirit of truth and love, which is all we seek it. All so-called knowledge came through trial and error. Therefore, we must escape the fear of failing. Failure is the way that we learn. We learn from mistakes of ourselves as well as the mistakes of others. We also learn from the successes of ourselves and of people that have followed a path. So you don't have to go through everything. I can learn from Malik's experience. I can learn from Jairus' experience. You know what I mean? If you tell me crack had you jacked up for 12 years, I'm not going to go and try some crack. You know what I mean? I get the gist. I seen you skinny and looking crazy and shaking when you was freestyling. You know what I mean? It's like, no. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, I'm straight, man. I ain't gotta try that. But there has been a recent movement to downplay belief as not useful. I have heard various groups talk about how we must leave the realm of believing and move into the dimension of knowledge. The problem with this is that it takes away the learning process. Any so-called truth that is taken to heart without observation or personal experience is no truth at all. Even if it be truth, the individual doesn't own it if he hasn't gone through the proper reasoning processes. When we as teachers hand down a so-called truth, we must urge people to investigate it. It is more important to teach a man to find truth than to give him a truth. When we do this, we create leaders instead of followers looking for messiahs. So what I meant by that is that there's this whole group, and it's nothing separate. Each group is doing it like it's some new concept. Like, oh, we got to know now. Every group knows everything. Go to the church. The minister knows everything. I know this is the only book. I know Jesus is Lord. I know that you need to be at church every Sunday. And so everybody just follows it. All you did was hand people information. You didn't give them the chance to experiment with that and be like, yo. And what if they come to you and say, yo, church ain't for me? You're going to try to discourage that. They know church is for everybody. You know what I mean? Same thing with all the other groups. You know what I mean? Muslim. I know Allah is the way. You know, I know. Whatever it is, people know that it's the way. Okay? So what I'm saying is that's why one of the reasons why I had to try to come up with a different group is because I don't claim to know anything. Plato, my dude Plato said that a wise man knows that he doesn't know anything. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I always walk around, I know this, I know that. It's like, no, you're a student just like me. We're all going through different problems. You having hard times paying your bills just as much as I do. And I probably don't even pray. It'd be different if every Christian had a mansion. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. I was like, where Christ at? So I could spin around 3 times, pick up my Bible, read Genesis, and all of a sudden, my mansion pops up. I want my mansion. They're not all living like that. They're not all happy either. Anyway. Anyway.
You alright, brother?
Yeah, I'm that, brother. says we must be as the snake that sheds his old skin time and time again. We must die to our past beliefs over and over until it becomes habitual to do so. It will be painful at first because of our need to be right. This path is not for the prideful man. This is a path for the man that is willing to shed that which he is proud of, to find what is real in the world. This is the path of the philosopher. The philosopher coldly, next paragraph, discards belief that proves to be false. He is not governed by his emotions. The emotions have a tendency to cling to familiar things. Once we become attached to an idea, our thought process shuts down and we become defensive. I can't go to nobody and be like, you know what, Jesus ain't real. What? Ah! You know I hate you! Boom. That's it. There's no free thinking process. Even, I know a pastor the other day, he got mad because somebody just said, he just asked him a question. He's like, you know, how do you know there's not more than just Jesus out there? How do you know there's not like some other gods we can worship? And he was like, man, that just made me so mad that he brought that up. What the hell is he? I'm like, why can't you at least think about it?
Yeah.
Does it really hurt you? Is God going to be like, send a big Nike down and be like, bitch? But maybe so. You know why? Because they've attached themselves to a belief that God is jealous of everything. Why would you worship a jealous God anyway? I need a God that... How can I ask you to help me if you're jealous of everything? Like, God, I'm having these feelings of jealousy. Me too. I'm jealous of every goddamn thing. You better not worship no other God. How can, if you're just as jealous as me, how can I get saved? How can you be my savior? How come you had to, how come you had to send down your son to fix shit? You God of all creation. I know that's jacked up. But yo, we philosophers. We can say what we want. Anyway, this man can't capture truth until he gains control of the fear. Fear tells us that it's too painful to go deeper. Fear tells us that deeper is evil. Don't think of nothing out there. Don't you be talking about chakras and developing your chakras.